Greetings! My name is Grasscat, and I'm here to answer a simply asked question. What the heck is Anno 117 Pax Romana? Or is it Anno 117? Anno 117? That Anno game, what's about the Romans? Start off with, let's take a look at our options menu. Pretty decent, actually. Not too many complaints. Couple of thumbs up. To get to one of my nitpicks, while I appreciate the fact that it lets me choose the graphics adapter, there is no option for choosing which window I want this to run on, which seems like an odd omission given the number of dual monitor setups that you have in the PC gaming space. So it's, I don't know, just kind of an odd thing to not have. Other than that, pretty decent options. Got a nice variety of resolutions. And of course, choosing between windowed full screen and windowed full screen. Do appreciate the fact that they have 3 different types of colorblind modes here. Always good to help people see the game correctly. Moving on to the graphics options. I've seen more detailed options before, but given the type of game that this is, I think this is pretty decent. There's not really anything that's missing here. And I appreciate the fact that you just always have this open benchmark option right here. So that way you can go through and make your adjustments and then click on the benchmark button and see how it's actually going to run for you. Over here on the audio, we've got master and then of course menu, music, voice, and sound effects. And something that you probably just heard, but I'll leave the game volume up for this next demo, is what happens with the voice volume. So listen.
This matter requires your input. This matter requires your input. It shall be done.
It's not always the same line, but
this matter
when you mouse over the voice volume, it'll actually do one of the barks. So that way you can see, it's like, do I have these volumes adjusted how I want them to be in the games? Like, will this work for me in my setup? So I do really appreciate that, actually. Controls, fairly standard. You do have a legacy setup here, which I am assuming is for longtime fans of the Anno series. So that is appreciated. Otherwise, pretty good list of commands that you can rebind. Various options to control the amount of information you have showing up for gameplay, as well as controlling edge scrolling, sensitivity, and various camera things. Now here's one of the odd omissions that they have in the settings. I'm not quite sure why this is omitted. I can change my autosave interval all the way up to 60 minutes if I want, but I can't actually turn autosaves off. Which just seems like, again, it's a minor omission. It's not a big deal. It's just strange that it's missing. And of course, do you want to have cross-play matchmaking to play with people, say, on a different console, or if you're on console, to play with people that are on PC? And then finally, we have some interface settings for controlling what kind of icons are going to show up, UI scaling. Again, fairly standard stuff here. And then you've got language settings. And a pretty decent list of language settings here, which is to be expected for AAA title. Now, I only have the option for English audio. I don't know if that's because of my region or if they just have English audio. I would expect that they just have English audio. But then you can choose what your text language is going to be for subtitles and such. Like I said, overall, pretty decent options. Nothing of serious nature to complain about. Just a couple of odd omissions and a couple of nice features. All right, that's enough talking about option menus. Let's actually take a look at the game. Now you got 2 modes. You've got a campaign and you've got endless mode. Endless is where you're going to be spending the bulk of your time. I do highly recommend at least a playthrough with the campaign, especially if you've never played an Anno game before. It does a very good job of taking you through the game systems and teaching you how to play the game. And there is some point to replaying it, because you do have a choice between choosing either the female or the male governor.
Promise me you're right.
And while you end up at the same spot, the story beats for getting there are different. So you won't necessarily get different missions, but the context of those missions will change very slightly. Like I said, the core of the game of what you're going to be doing is endless mode, so let's take a look at that. First up, you have some profile options. Some of these are locked, which you have to unlock via the Hall of Fame, which we'll talk about later. And then you've got various banner symbols and colors, which again has some unlock options that will gradually be unlocked as you play through the game. One sort of odd omission here is that it doesn't let you choose the symbol color. Like, I can choose the symbol, but the symbol is always going to be sort of a darker version of your banner color. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but it is. And then you can click on Randomize button to get a random portrait and a random color and banner. One incredibly tiny little nitpick is if you change your governor name, it doesn't stick. Like, when I first booted up the game, to be cute, I went through and I looked up what is Latin for grass cat and put that in as my governor name. And then when I came back to do some recording, I discovered that, oh, it didn't save. So I really wish it would save your name and only change the name if, like, you hit the randomize button. Yeah, nitpicks. Difficulty. I have no nitpicks on difficulty. Oh my word, I love this setup. So we click on edit. So actually, let me go back here real quick. You've got presets here, so normal, advanced, veteran. And then after choosing one of these options, you can then click on the edit button and change everything. How hard or how relaxed do you want to make your game? Do you want a nice, casual city building simulator? Oh yeah, go through and change all the game balance stuff to easy. Set yourself up with a nice little start. You can disable the 2 raiders that are present in the 2 different provinces. Oh, this is lovely. This level of options for being able to set up the game to play the way you want it to play is delightful, and I absolutely adore all of these options. You've also got quite a few different game world configurations, and it does a good job of explaining to you what all of these mean. So, like, if I mouse over map layout, it tells me right here what all these options mean. I don't have to guess. Same thing with all of these other options. And then you have the ability to set up a world seed. And there you go. So if I create a seed that I think is particularly challenging or interesting, I can share that with my friends. And as long as they have the correct settings, they'll be able to regenerate my game. Governor selection, again, pretty good. Now, again, this is where I have less of a nitpick here and more of a bit of a concern. So if I click on Edit Governor, it brings me to this screen where I have 7 different governors. And I'll be honest, that feels a little bit light. It's like if you're playing this single player, like you don't have a large group of friends who are going to want to sit down and spend 15 hours, to play a game of Anno. You're going to be playing single player, and you're going to want variety in your governor challenges, and it just feels like there's not a lot here. Maybe I'm overthinking this. This is the first Anno game that I have seriously taken a look at. I've poked at other Anno games in the past, so I'm not utterly unfamiliar with them. But this is the first Anno game that I have seriously looked at. And it just seems to me that this is sort of a lightweight selection. And also, you've only got one veteran AI, which is probably more than enough for your average player, to be honest. Like, I don't even want to consider how badly this guy would kick my butt if I tried to play a game against him. But it just seems odd that this is all you have, and you also only have the one easy AI. Both of these other two in normal are 2 stars. So you've got one easy, 2 2-stars, you have 3 3-stars, and you have 1 4-star, but no 5th star. It's like, are they going to expand the AI options at a later date, or is this all we're getting? So I am a little bit legitimately concerned about this. If you are looking for a heavy AI challenge, I'm not entirely sure that this is going to be able to provide it. I could be wrong on this. Like I said, I've not done a serious Anno game, or seriously done an Anno game before, and so I just could be completely off base on this, but this does have me a little bit concerned. Now, since I don't actually want to deal with AI, I'm going to delete them out. But before I do that, I want to talk about co-op, because we can see here I have 3 empty slots, and I can invite friends on each of these. Crazily enough, this game supports 4v4v4v4 gameplay. So how this works is each governor is can be controlled by a human, and then that human can invite 3 friends to all simultaneously control that governor's faction. And in fact, that's how I played the campaign. I'll talk more about that in a moment, but shout out to the Backlogs for getting me this pre-release key so I could do this. But I went through with him and 2 other people, and the 4 of us simultaneously controlled our faction and did the entire campaign in co-op. And wow, was that fun. I love this system of allowing 4 people to control one faction. It's a little bit slow to start, but once these games rev up, and you'll see how complicated it can get, it was glorious fun having 4 of us controlling one faction. We didn't even realize we finished the campaign. That's how much fun we were having. But again, you can invite 3 people, so you can have 1 person each per faction, but you could also have 4 people per faction for 4v4v4v4. I can only imagine the chaos that a 16-player game of this would cause. That is an awesome option. I really love it if you can't tell by how I'm talking about it. But let's get this moving. Since I don't want to deal with AI while I'm trying to explain things, I'm going to get rid of them. I am going to actually make sure that I am on normal difficulty here. There we go. One final overview of all of the settings. Everything looks good. Now you have 2 provinces. You will be switching back and forth between these provinces eventually. You do need to unlock that in endless mode. But whether you start on Albion or you start on Latium is a bit of a personal preference. I like the Roman starting point a little bit better than the Celtic one. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Latinium, and we are going to set sail. Now, one quick thing while we're waiting on the load screen here, I would recommend having this game installed on an SSD. I mean, they tell you that in the game requirements, that it requires an SSD. And it's like, even with a good SSD, it did take a moment to get to the set sail point here. I don't think it would cripple your ability to enjoy the game, but you are certainly going to be sitting through some load screens if you don't have an SSD.
The senatorial province of Latium was once Empire's beating heart.
Yes. Let's get on to the gameplay. Alright, so what is the core loop behind Anno 117? I still don't know how to call this game. It is a city builder at its core. Yes, there is diplomacy involved, and yes, there is combat involved if you choose to have combat involved. But at its core, it is a city builder. You will start off with one island under your control, and you need to start building things up. Basic commands, it's fairly standard stuff for city builders. You've got mouse wheel to scroll yourself in and out. Middle mouse click allows you to rotate. You can use the WASD keys and the arrow keys to move around, as well as edge scroll. Do be aware, if you have a dual monitor setup, you'll need to be in full screen mode, not borderless window, because borderless window, to the right here is where my second monitor is. If I was in borderless window, I would not be able to edge scroll to the right. My mouse would just leave the window and go onto my other monitor over here. So if you've got a dual monitor setup, do make sure you're in full screen mode, otherwise you will encounter some annoyances with that. Get things set up. Some buildings do require had to have resources, so obviously a lumberyard or timber people. What the hell are you called again? Woodcutter! There we go. Let's use the right words for the building. A woodcutter does require trees, obviously. So I'll put down 2 of those, making sure I've got plenty of tree coverage. And then everything needs to be connected by roads. And this is where a lot of the strategy and stuff comes into play from the roads. Making sure that you have things connected correctly. And I need to be careful. Like, I don't want to wipe out more trees than I absolutely have to. So that's probably a good spot there to put my connection. And then I am going to put a warehouse right there. I don't have to put a warehouse. Buildings that have ranges, you can see by clicking on them. So you can see by the highlights in the road, this is how far this woodcutter can provide things. And if I put a sawmill, actually right there and right there, then actually the next time this woodcutter generates wood, it's going to deliver it directly to this sawmill rather than coming all the way down here. An interesting thing about the warehouses in this game, even if it is a little bit immersion breaking, is apparently Romans had interdimensional portal technology, because anything that is delivered to one warehouse is instantly available to all warehouses. It does not matter how far away this is. If I set up, let me zoom around here. Here we go. So like here's a mine all the way over here. If I set up a warehouse over here, as long as I have a road connecting this warehouse to, as I get lost on my own map, where are we? There we are. As long as I have a road connecting that warehouse to this trading post, and everything must be connected to the trading post via roads, then it doesn't matter. That mine all the way in the northwest portion of the island would produce ore that is usable all the way down here at this warehouse, or could be sold from this trading post for profit. Maybe a little immersion breaking, but honestly, not bad. It will tell you when a building is missing goods. You can see it right here, this little goods icon. And it will also tell you when your connection is not correct. Another very useful thing what I just did there, moving the units. Anno is a very forgiving game in terms of putting things down. If you make a mistake, you will be able to pick up and move your building without consequence. And eventually, oops, let me get out of rest mode. Eventually, this building will complain to me, informing me that it does not have a road connection. Which obviously, it needs to have. Up there it goes. You can see now it is complaining. No warehouse in range because there is no road connection here. Pick it back up, move it back over there. And now it is in range. Remember to turn off your move icon so you're not accidentally picking up buildings like I just did there. In any case, you can see I've got wood in here now. They'll just keep generating wood, delivering it. It can take some time for production to warm up, so to speak. Like and it gives you all the information you need. So if I mouse over this here, it tells me processing time 30 seconds. So every 30 seconds, this is going to produce 1 wood. I can come over here then. Make sure I was on the right thing here. Yeah, so the woodcutter, every 30 seconds, produces 1 log. And then the sawmill, every 30 seconds, will process a wood log. And so, well, as long as this guy has 100% availability for its spaces, which I can see it does, 108 out of 80, 112 out of 80. So as long as these guys are operating at 100% efficiency, which is what this number here is telling me, I'm not going to have any problems supplying 2 sawmills. Now, if I want a 3rd sawmill, I need to find a place to put down a 3rd woodcutter, but I don't want to overlap. Because if I overlap them, if I try to make it too dense, you notice now that first one's going to drop down to 95% efficiency. And so I would want to, say, maybe put this 3rd woodcutter right here. Hook it up. And you can see that did take away from some of these woods right here. Pardon the chair sound. I really need to get a quieter chair. All right, but as you can see, we're currently bleeding money. And so the other part of Anno, which is part of any good city builder, is getting the economy up and running. So I am going to grab some houses because this is how we fulfill, or we start up our economy. So I am going to put down some workers here. Everybody's got to be connected by roads. You can see there we've got symbols complaining that no connection to trading post. Now, oops, and, well, again, I made a mistake there. Kind of misplaced my buildings. Not a problem. I'll just grab the move icon, grab the whole chunk, move it down, grab this chunk of road, move it down very inexpertly. And then proceed to fumble around with the controls a bit. I played this game prior to this. I promise I know what I'm doing. Roads sometimes can be a bit fiddly when it comes to moving and rebuilding. There we go. So now I've got these houses. They auto-populate with a low level of population. And as I meet needs, that is going to generate income. So I can give them fish and I can give them porridge. And I can come down here, click on their icon, and it's going to show me all of the relevant buildings for satisfying their needs. So I'm going to grab some fish, plonk him down right there. And again, it's global supply. If they are connected to the trading post, which they have to be connected to the trading post. As soon as there is fish in here, these will start getting supplied with fish. Likewise, I can also provide them with some porridge, so I'll grab the porridge. I'm going to extend this out some more. Plop down a field. Plop that down. Grab a warehouse, because again, there's no warehouse up here. So, like, the range on this building doesn't extend down far enough to reach this warehouse. And so if I want this production chain to be connected to my supply lines, I'm going to have to put another warehouse here. Now, there is a cost to this. You can't just go crazy with the interdimensional warehouses, because each warehouse is going to cost me a maintenance cost of 6 and 4 workers. So when I plonk this down, bam, I'm down to only 2 surplus workforce. So I am going to have to wait now for these things to rev up. I'm going to need to wait for the oat farm to start producing. The oat farm will deliver. Then I have to wait for this to start producing. And then finally those needs will start getting fulfilled. You can see already that my need for fish is being fulfilled. And my island income is now starting to go up. Eventually my porridge need will start getting filled. But I also need public services, but that's not going to unlock until I get 20. Now, this clump of buildings here should be enough for me to get that 20. Just in case, I'm going to build some more. And this is, again, like I said, it's a city builder. This is the core. I'm going to go through. Plot that out. Now, I'm not going to get too close because I know I need to put some buildings here. So I'll plop those down. Now, thankfully, there are speed controls, so I can speed it up. And that gave me the little boost that I needed to unlock these. So again, I can put this down. This is going to cost me quite a bit. And again, the buildings do a very good job of showing you effects. So like if I do a preview of this building right here, it shows me this actually wouldn't be a good idea because all of these buildings are already under the influence of the market. So there wouldn't be any reason for me to put the market down here. And now, because I've hit more milestones, I have some additional options. Now they have needs of tunics and hats. And this is just really, again, this is the core of the gameplay. It's like, okay, well, I need tunics, so I'll put down a hemp farm. And I will put down some sheeps. And here I've run out of resources. Notice how they're sort of this like odd grayed out color. It's because I ran out of timber. And each of these cost 1 timber. So I'm going to have to wait until I have 3 timber saved up. And I'm going to use speed controls. You got speed controls here, or you can use the plus and minus keys. Oh, and I've actually already have the 3 timber, so I can pull that down. And then I can use the upgrade button here to click on and finish that out. Now, this also works with other building types. For example, if I want to plan out, but don't necessarily want to place yet my spinner, there is an option over here, planning mode. Now, I'm just going to put down the ghost building. And again, it's going to give me all the information I need. Notice how it shows the highlight of what is the range of this building in terms of warehouse locating. So I can see that, yes, I'll easily make the warehouse. It's also going to show me the radius of effect for housing, and it's also going to tell me over here how many affected buildings there will be from placing the unit right here. It also is going to show me a preview of like, hey, this has supplies. Do you have the right buildings for it? And it's showing me that, yeah, I've got a producing hemp farm over here. So I'll plonk down that preview there. Grab hats. Okay, yeah, looks like good placement for the hats. Plonk that down there. And then I can, when I'm ready to, build these up. So I can click on my upgrade button. Bam, bam, there we go. And then they're going to grab resources and proceed to build things. I'm going to speed this up a little bit because there's one more thing that I want to show on here before I talk about some more general features of the game. And then move on to showing what the late stage of the game is going to look like.
What happens in Taberna stays in Taberna.
Now, as needs are fulfilled, you've got these bars here. And once you have successfully filled up all these bars with green, you can upgrade. It's worth noting that you only have to fill up the bar count. So like this is 1 bar. All I had to do was provide fish or porridge. This is 1 bar. All I had to do was provide market or tavern. Same thing here. This is 1 bar. So all I had to do was provide tunics or hats. And now that this building has had all of its needs filled, I can upgrade them. You can either do this by clicking on individual buildings and clicking on the upgrade button, or the much more sane way is to click on the upgrade button and immediately see who you can upgrade. Of course, I can't do that because... Why can't I do that? Oh, I'm low on timber, probably. There we go. Click and drag. Click and drag. There we go. Turn my speed back down. Now, notice that as I upgrade these, I am losing one type of workforce and gaining another type of workforce. So you do have to balance this out. I am always going to need some Libertas workforce, depending on the buildings that I have on an island. Because, well, someone needs to do the sheep farm. And it's not going to be the plebeians. These people are not going to be working in the sheep farms. I need Libertas for that. So you do have to pay attention when you are upgrading. And again, now I have new change. You can see that there's new needs. I've got 1, 2, 3 bars that need to be filled here. I filled 2 of them with the fish and porridge. And now I need to either produce bread or garum. Same and same. So I've got 80 out of 100. I'm going to do one more upgrade here because there is one last building that I want to show. There we go. Now that I can build the Grammaticus, which is a crazy expensive building, which also brings me to a feature that I'm not sure how to feel about, to be quite honest. So Grammaticus. I need tile, which I don't have yet, and 3 out of 5 lumber. I'm going to plonk that down there. And sanctuary, because I don't know, why not? Plonk that down there. Well, I can't build those yet. Now, as you go through and you play the game and you complete achievements, you are going to earn honor points. And those honor points can be used to both get cosmetics, like banners, but it can also get you in-game items. Now, you still have to earn these. These aren't like, you know, they're not microtransactions. Don't get me wrong. There's no payment for anything like that. But, like, because I've done those honor points, I can activate this Roman material pack and just instantly get 50 timber, 40 tiles, and 30 concrete. Boom. There we go. And, like, for my ship here, I have unlocked a ship captain. Didn't have me to click on that. I unlocked a ship captain, so I can click on the captain slot here. that she's
Our
crazy
scouts have
good.
sighted new
Plus
land.
200% discovery radius, plus 35% hit points, plus 20% movement speed. It's like, if you don't have some of these unlocked, and you go into a multiplayer game, you are going to be significantly behind someone who does have these things unlocked. It's fine for single player. I'm not sure how to feel about the multiplayer implications. So I am just going to send that ship down scouting while I talk about a couple
Our
of other
scouts have
things.
sighted new land.
Get these buildings built, because that's also going to unlock research now that I'm actually generating knowledge points. So there's a lot of stuff that you
Our
could
scouts
research in
have
this
sighted
game.
new land.
As you can see, the research trees are extensive. And there's different strategies. Do you want to focus on military? Do you want to focus on civics, economics? Like, very early on thing that probably would be a very good thing to get would be angling towards depots. Because this increases the maximum storage capacity of your buildings. So if I grab this, I'll be able to research it. Now, this is where revving up your economy really comes in handy. It's not joking about that 52 minutes remaining. Of course, my generation keeps going up as my population increases. But no, that's 50 minutes real time. It will eventually settle down and stop going up quite so fast. But yeah, some of these researches can take a
Our
long
scouts have
time
sighted
to
new
complete.
land.
And so I would really want to, at this point, like, start trying to rev up my population. And of course, the more population I need, the more resources I will need. And so let's just talk about, does this game give you the tools you need to effectively grow your city and grow your empire? And I'd say yes, it does a phenomenal job. So I can click here to see my production. Pretty easy to read. The smaller this white bar is, the less demand I have. So I'm well oversupplied on my timber. I'm producing 6 of 6, but so I can afford to plop in some more timber producers. Fish is good. I'm fully consuming my wheat. My porridge is good. Clothes are good, so on and so forth. I can just look down through here and see, yep, okay. Now, my production chains are currently all right, and obviously I haven't started these production chains yet, so their demand, the demand bar is full on white, indicating that I have no surplus. Well, because there's no demand.
A ship is under attack.
And I forgot to turn off raiders.
Kaiso Syracuse. We deal in acquisitions and...
So,
human
since this
relations
happened,
in a manner of
let's just
speaking.
go ahead and deal with
Useless
this guy here.
raiders roam these
Now,
seas.
ships have
If
firing
anyone
arcs.
here is friendly, it is certainly not
You notice
them.
how my ship is trying to adjust to get into range for the firing arc? And because I have this person on there, yeah, they're going to turn tail and run. Now, naval combat is interesting. There is wind direction. And so if I can get up close enough, yep, I am able to just barely get them into range, and I can hunt them down and destroy them. Which, of course, will have repercussions in terms of my reputation. But they're slavers. I don't care.
Well, that's a write-off.
And usually after you destroy a ship, there will be flotsam that you can drive over and pick up. Sometimes. I think because I don't have... Oh, yeah. Property of vassal. Can't pick that up. That's their flotsam.
We stand waiting.
And there's the Pirate Cove.
No sense worrying too much about the present. Tomorrow all may change, eh?
Grab the ship. Since you're sailing off there, find more islands. Okay, back to research. So yeah, it's a good idea to select and figure out your research as quickly as possible. So like if I want to go for warehouse organization to be able to increase my warehouse efficiency, I can queue that up. And so now this is going to take about 37 minutes to research that, and it will take about 42 minutes to research that. Obviously, I can use
Our
the speed up
scouts have
keys
sighted new land.
to speed that process up, or, like I said, build up my economy. There's also religion. You can switch between your religion fairly easily. Some of them, of course, have unlock conditions. I have to research the Cult of Minerva if I want that as my patron. Otherwise, religion just gives you certain bonuses and can affect diplomatic relationships. Like, there is one of the AI who really likes it if you are dedicated to Mars. But for trying to get things revved up, Ceres is probably a
Our
better
scouts
option.
have sighted new land.
And now that I have devotion set, I'll start earning devotion points. And you can see the benefits that I will gain as I go down this particular path of devotion. Now, different isles are going to have different resources. You can see here that this island has this resource production. But there's something very interesting. If I come over to my build menu, go away ships. Oop, there you go. Bring on my build menu, go to my
Our scouts have
plebeians.
sighted new land.
And, of course, I don't have soap up yet. But one of the things that I will eventually need will be ampules. And those require resin. There's no resin on this island. No resin on that island. No resin on that.
Welcome to Lily Bion,
No resin
Governor.
on that.
I am Valeria Turan.
I'll eventually find resin, I hope.
Establishments.
Yeah, I haven't found any resin yet. So, somewhere, hopefully on this map, I do have resin. Oops. Get out of build mode there.
Ready.
Queue up a couple moves for you, ship. But yeah, each island's going to have different production abilities. Or I can also very easily see it by going to the province map. And I can mouse over the various islands to be able to easily find out where are the various production points. Now, these islands, especially since I'm playing with like large islands, these are like crazy expensive. Like an island can cost anywhere from like 10 to 25,000 in order to purchase. So it'll usually be a bit before you can afford to buy an
Our
island.
scouts have sighted new land.
Or potentially it'll just simply take a little bit of time. Seriously, where is resin on this map? There has got to be resin on here someplace. In any case, trade routes, because again, like I said, trading's a big part of the game. Now, eventually I'll find resin, and if I want to get ampules to this island, I'm going to have to take whatever island has the resin and either ship the resin to this island to make ampules on this island, or turn whatever island has the resin into an ampule production center and ship it out to the other islands that need that resource. And I'll be able to show this particular menu a little bit better
Our scouts have sighted
for
new
an
land.
more advanced map. Let me just crank up the speed here. While I'm waiting for my ship to sail around, a few things about this wheel. Any island I am on, again, it will show the island fertilities. It's going to show how many mountain and water slots it has.
Have sighted new land.
And in a very useful feature, you can actually set the time of day.
Have sighted
Time of
new
day
land.
has no impact on the game mechanically. It is purely visual. So if you always want to have your game at a specific time, you can turn it off and just say, you know what? I always want it to be night. Or I always want it to be noon. Sorry for the flashbang there. Or you can let
Our
time
scouts
run
have sighted new
normally.
land.
Actually, I really like that. It's just a nice little touch.
Our scouts have
There we
sighted
go.
new
Finally,
land.
there's the island with resin on it. So once I reach that point in the game where I need resin, there we go. There's another island that has resin. Ooh, this has resin and
Our
olives.
scouts have sighted
That would
new
be a good
land.
island to grab. There's another resin and olive. That's a big island. That sucker would be expensive to buy. But you get the idea. Now that I've got some scouting done and I've got additional islands, I know like where I would want to go to scout things out. And this is pretty much the core gameplay loop, minus combat, although we did see that just a little bit, and minus the diplomacy. So in order to show those, I'm going to load up the end game map that I had from my cooperative campaign with my friends, and take a look to see what a end game map might look like. All right, we're back at it. So this is well after Act 2 had concluded from my co-op game. Like I said, we were having so much fun. We didn't even really realize that we had completed the campaign. We thought we were on Act 3 and then figured out, oh, wait, there is no Act 3. I mean, that is a testament to how much fun we were having playing this game as a group. And it was definitely a good thing that we were playing this as a group. So this is one map. So you can see on this one map alone, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different islands. And then let's click on this change province, or actually no, we'll look at the map. We have both Latium and Albion. And we have a world map. Now, I don't think they're going to add additional provinces in. It almost seems a waste to have this beautiful world map and only have these 2 provinces. But I don't know what the future content plans are for this game. But it's kind of neat in that you can freely transfer ships, men, and trade between these 2 provinces, and you'll actually see your fleet sailing across between the 2 provinces. It does take time for the ships to get between these 2 points. And as you can see, here is Latium. And here's Albion, which I love how easy it is to switch. Basically just 1 or 2 on the num keypad will switch between Latium and Albion. And again, over here, we can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 islands over here with just all sorts of stuff going on. So we've got ships over here. We've got trading going on over here, back over here in Albion, or not Albion, Latium. We have a little invasion going on, so that way I can show the combat in this game, such as it is. And yeah, this is where having 4 players controlling the same faction really works out well. One person was in charge of coordinating land combat, one was in charge of coordinating ships, and then myself and the other player was in charge of coordinating the economy and keeping things moving. So it worked out really good having 4 players controlling this much information. Now, obviously, if you're a Anno veteran, you probably look at that and go, it's like, yeah, like I need 3 other people to help me control that. But if you're not an Anno veteran, it's a really nice and fun way to play the game with a friend. Now, there are some disadvantages to doing this. You will notice in my troop selection here, let me unpause the game,
Minerva, pour thy wisdom in mine ear.
and reposition
Flames of
those
insight.
units. You will notice a distinct lack of siege engines. The combat in this game is very, what I would like to call rock, paper, scissors based. Certain units really do hard counter other types of units, or types of weapons hard counter types of units. So these ships
What could you possibly require?
with like the ship archers, yeah, they don't do much to wooden structures. Now, the ships with the
Waiting for your
catapults
decree.
can do a lot to structures. Also, catapults are horrifyingly inaccurate, and so like trying to hit something on a long thin line like this, yeah, no, the catapults almost never actually hit the gate, which is what they're supposed to be firing at. Instead, they hit like all around. It's like, they're still doing good. It's like, yeah, they're still smacking into this unit of spearmen here. But we would be sitting here for a while waiting for that ship-based catapult to destroy this gate. But the combat is very much rock, paper, scissory. At least from what I can tell. Now, full disclosure, I'm in this for the city building. But I don't really much care for the combat portion of this game. It's not something that interests me. And so I am not the best person to come to for getting opinions on the combat. From what I can tell, it is okay. It's not going to detract from the experience if you turn it on and you like combat. Nope, and they just spawned in another ship there. Which is not, that ship is not going to live for very long at all. And it's dead. So it's like, yeah, it's like the combat's good. Like the combat's decent. I think you will be direly disappointed if you are playing this just for the combat. But then the game's not advertising itself as an RTS. It is advertising itself as a city builder. So I don't think that's really going to be a breaking point. If you are going to be buying Anno, you're going to be buying it for the city building portion, not necessarily the combat. But there's a good amount of unit selection. Morale matters. You can break unit morale and make them run.
Regard the enemy's eyes, men.
If there is a way of
Never let
seeing
such fear well
what
in
the
yours.
morale is, I haven't figured it out yet. It's like, I don't think it's this ring right here surrounding the unit, because I would have expected that unit to have broken by now if that was the case.
Possibly require.
This other catapult over here. Do I have any other catapults? Nope, those are not catapults. This is like they're taking damage from the catapults, so that should be impacting the morale.
Admirably done.
So, like I said, if there's there, that should have impacted morale at least a little bit. But you know, that circle didn't. Oh, okay, there it is. You have to mouse over the icon. Wow, I just now figured that out. That's not necessarily the best. Like, there is no good way of seeing what the morale is for either your troops or the enemy troops, short of trying to click on the unit, which is potentially in the middle of a muddle, if you've got a big battle going on, and then mousing over this icon. That's not the best. I mean, it's there, you can see it, but it's not the best. And combat is a relatively slow affair. So if I start moving these troops into position, that will Well, first, that's going to get me ripped apart by these guard towers. Like, you really do need siege engines because these guard towers have an insane range. Look at that. It's like, as soon as I start getting these units within range to actually start doing anything, I'm coming under fire. So just trying to get into position is going to cause me to take a lot of damage. Now, there is also a friendly fire. Like, just throwing my troops into the fray like this is probably not optimal. Especially since those archers are going to start hitting and injuring my own troops. See, because I focused fired those guys down. They got their morale broken, so they're running away. Now they've got those guys surrounded. Their morale will probably go down pretty quick. Again, it's like I'd like to be able to see this morale without having to select on it like that, but it is what it is. All right, so their morale broke. Their morale broke. And now it is possible for units to come back and then just sort of to drive home the point of, yeah, you really want siege engines. I will take some serious damage trying to get through these gates. Like, it's not going to be pleasant for my poor little archers here. But again, that's the way it should be, right? You know, you should have the right tool for the right job. But yeah, this bar here is pretty accurate. There is not a snowball's chance in hell that without siege engines, I am getting through all of these guard towers. No, that's not a guard tower. There's another guard tower. Like, there's a guard tower. There's a guard tower. Got double gates there. Another guard tower. Double gates there. It's like, yeah, no. I am not reaching this villa without siege weapons. And so this little bar here's pretty gosh darn accurate in terms of what I can expect for this fight. While that's going on, take a quick look at the diplomacy window. Currently at war with these two individuals. Well, I mean, he's the slaver, so I don't care about him. Poor old man in a straw hat. I don't know why we decided to pick on him, but we did. I have a defensive pact with him, and so let's take a look at her. Diplomacy's fairly straightforward. And that I click on Enter Negotiations. And it's going to show me here what options I can do and what options are unavailable. There is no roll of the dice. You can either do it or you can't when it comes to the AI. Now, obviously, if I was playing against other players, they would have the ability to accept or not accept treaties and such. The AI, it's just straight up. What are the options for? What are the options against? Like, recently we broke a defensive pact because at this point in our game, we realized that we were done with the campaign. And we're like, you know what? Let's just do a final cinematic invasion of the island. We'll talk about that in a moment. And so we broke defensive pacts with everybody. And so she's justifiably upset about that. So if I wanted to try to get a non-aggression pact, I can't. There's too much negative. But I can offer a gift, say give her 50,000.
Troubling, but donations are welcome.
And probably need to wait another tick or so. That or I should have given a better gift. All right, well, my practice run, I was able to do this, but you get the idea. It's like I gave a gift, let me dial my speed back down and pause the game. So I can see received a small gift that gave me a plus 20, which decays by 5 every hour. But Defiant, New Island Claimed, and Defensive Pact Broken will all tick down by 5 every hour as well. So I'll lose 5 points, but I'll gain 15. So in an hour, I'm not waiting that long, I would be able to get a non-aggression pact. Like I said, one of the disadvantages to doing the co-op thing is, this lack of siege weapons. Editing Cat here. I'm removing the audio on this section because, well, go down and read the description, but basically we determined that there was a bug that was affecting their ability to see the siege engines, and I didn't realize that yet because I hadn't talked with my friends about why they couldn't see the obvious. And so, I'm removing the audio from this section. Okay, let's go back to the main menu and wrap this up. One last thing to take a look at, Hall of Fame. So this is what I'm saying. It's like as you go through and you complete tasks and actions in the game, you will earn fame points, and then you can come over here to spend the fame points. It's a fairly standard unlock system. Like if I want to unlock tier 3, I first have to spend 240 points, which I don't have enough points to actually do that. And it varies from cosmetic things, like being able to put down cosmetic, different colors of tiles, or having different symbols to put on the banner, to fairly significant gameplay bonuses, like this guy right here that I have purchased. As soon as I build my governor's house, I can have a guy that's going to give me plus 25% belief and plus 25% knowledge generation. Like, if you go into a multiplayer game and one side has this and you don't, that's a big deal. So again, like, for the single player side of stuff, I think this is fine. It's actually kind of a fun little system. I don't know. The multiplayer side, I'm just like, I'm not sure. Overall, I don't object to the system being here. I'm just not, I don't know. I am neutral on it. It's a fun little system. Looking at this from a single player point of view, it's a fun little system for rewarding you for playing the game. Now, let's leave it at that. That's enough said on this one. And you have unlocked chains for both Latium and Albion. And then finally, we've got this mysterious, empty, additional content window that has a redeem code button. Like, I honestly do not know what to make of this one. Like, is this where the DLC is going to show up? Is this going to be a store page in the future? I don't know. It is worth noting that I am currently recording this on a pre-release key, which I did receive for free from Ubisoft for the purpose of playing the game and reviewing it. So do factor that in to what I have said about the game. I did get my key for free. But overall, to wrap it up, what do I think of Anno, Pax Romana? As a city builder, it's a fun game. It's like, I've poked at Anno games before. Never really seriously tried to play them before. This is my first Anno game. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I spent 10 plus hours doing the campaign in co-op and did not realize that I had spent 10 hours in 2 days playing this game. That's how much fun I was having. I fully plan on playing it some more on easy because I just don't particularly want to have a stressful time with this game. But I fully plan on playing this some more and seeing just what kind of, well, look, you can see the city in the background. It's like, that is awesome. Like, what kind of awesome cities can I come up with? If you like city builders, I would say that this game is definitely worth your time to check it out. And with that, thank you very much for listening to me. If you found this video useful, a thumbs up would be appreciated. And, well, if not, the thumbs down button is right next to it. Until next time.